Before the president sat down with George Stephanopoulos, he spoke with two black radio hosts in the battleground states of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Both are with me now. Earl Ingram is the host of the Earl Ingram Show in Milwaukee, and Andrea Lawful Sanders is the host of The Source on WURD in Philadelphia. Welcome to you both. Congratulations on such a big week. And Earl, let me start with you. And I'm going to play here the president's answer to your question about his performance in the debate. Here's what he told you.
I had a bad night. And the fact of the matter is that, I screwed up. I made a mistake. And
Welcome back. It is a new day. We thank the good Lord it's a new day. Thank God it is a new day. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. It never stops. President Joe Biden, what is going on? Over here, it's a report from CNN, and it's a radio host who interviewed President Biden and confirms that his aide sent the questions for approval. Let's just listen in and see what's going on. Over here on the screen, you can see President Biden attesting to this himself, saying, I screwed up. I made a mistake. I'll just leave it at that for now.
but I learned from my father, when you get knocked down, just get back up. Get back up.
Can Biden get back up? I think he's done. In my humble opinion, I think he's done. But let me know what you think in the comment section. There's certain people that go down, and we just know they're not getting back up. And there's really no reason to get back up. Like, you get back up to do what, really? Let's be honest with ourselves. And I think one of the best positions to be in is to be able to recognize that you have recognized that you are done. And quite frankly, for me, I think President Biden is done. Decent man, you've done your 2 terms as VP, 1 term as a president. I think you can call it quits.
Did you hear the version of the president, similar to one we saw the debate, that alarmed so many Democrats? Gauge for me what your exchange was with the president.
Well, you're talking about a person, myself, who has followed the president for over 45 years. I've watched him from a very when I was a very young man to where he is now. Clearly, not just the president, but any person over a 45-year period there's going to be some changes to who they were, as there is with me. I'm not surprised that Joe Biden is not who he was 45 years ago. I am a little surprised that the Joe Biden of today is different from the Joe Biden of 2 years ago, of even a year ago.
How so?
Well, clearly, cognitively, anybody who hears him and knows of him and who he has been will detect that there are some differences in his speech. People attribute that constantly to the fact that he has a speech impediment. He's always had a speech impediment.
Is that true? But I guess even more so now with age. And that's all people are saying. Just recognize that there is an issue. You've gotten older, and certain things you cannot do any longer. What I could do 20 years ago, I cannot do now. And I'm okay with that. It's okay. Especially if you have a very, very, very demanding, tough job like the president, where decisions have to be made on the fly. You can't afford to make mistakes, because every mistake you make is at the expense of people's lives and livelihoods. We cannot afford that. You've lived your life. So please don't play games and play chess with people's lives. It's too delicate. It's just certain things not meant to be messed with. You only get one chance of certain things. Most things in life, you only get one chance. Just like we have one life in this life. Though we may have many seasons, but it's all encapsulated in that one life. You get one chance to one life. So let's make the best of it. So for Joe Biden, I think he should just give it up, honestly speaking. I'm not hearing any good report from both sides, whether Democrats or Republicans or even independents like mine, because I cannot make a decision. I cannot see myself being okay with going ahead with Joe Biden.
His entire life, but people hadn't been talking about the fact that he has a speech impediment until, the last few weeks. And clearly there's something that is different about President Joe Biden.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He says that he will not be taking or releasing a cognitive test. Andrea, let me ask you here about.
Did anyone hear about that? And what do you think about that? Joe Biden making it clear he is not taking any cognitive tests. Is that allowed? Is that allowable? Is that acceptable? I don't know. You let us know what you think and what you think about our president saying he is not taking a cognitive test. Should it be his choice or should it be a requirement?
Your interviews and something I listened to both of them, and there's something that's similar here. You each you asked 4 questions, and maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House, but they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House, or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either of you. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming. Let me play here a bit of your interview. This is, and you've probably seen it's gotten a lot of attention. This is when he was asked about his accomplishments as president. Let's play it.
I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, the first black woman to serve with a black president.
Huh? I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president that we know, the first black woman to serve with a black president.
Did you hear, as it's being covered, the president say that he was proud to be the first black woman president? Because that's what the headlines all over the internet are suggesting.
I find it interesting that they saw and heard that. What I got from him was that he was intimating that Kamala Harris was the first black woman vice president. And I guess with his speech impediment, they heard something else. And I find it interesting that that was the only thing that they picked out of that entire conversation and ran with it. Look.
Well, yeah, I see what she's trying to say. I kind of get it. Sometimes as they say, they're saying President Biden has a speech impediment. Very possible. I don't know. That's something they would have to confirm. But I could also see that happening, when, your thoughts or your speech is going faster than your thoughts, or the other way around, where you you're trying to organize your thoughts, but your speech is going faster and you're saying things all around, all over the place. I can see that. But the fact is, it's happened so many times. And what most people are saying, including myself, is the fact that he's gotten older. And those things are bound to happen. And we can't keep making excuses where decisions have to be made. I think that's where the problem is. No one has a problem with Joe Biden's speech impediment, because anyone could have that. And we all get older. Keep on living, as they say, right? But the fact is, decisions have to be made here, and we cannot entrust the lives of Americans into someone's hands who we do not trust to understand what is going on. And that's where the problem is. So all of this medical stuff, it's normal. We all get it at some point. Yeah, we all going to get older. We all going to have that at some point. That's okay. But it's the fact that people's lives are tied to decisions that he has to make. And we're not sure that he is all there, given the fact that he's older and given all this other prior scenarios that we've seen in the past. So I think that's where the problem is.
We have a hard way to go in this country. I am listening to the community that is speaking to me every single day on WURD radio. We are answering, looking at the things that are mattering to us. We can't afford to get excited and flumble about what folks are thinking about the president and his frailty and his speeches. We are concerned about the purging of the government in Project 2025. We have been talking about this on WURD since January, fully and completely. The slashing of the Department of Justice and dismantling the FBI and replacing their traditional independence from political pressure with fealty to the administration. Those are the things that matter to us in the Black community. So when I ask them, what matters most to you, that President Biden has this speech impediment or that he's slowing down versus the other person who has all these other things going on, they keep saying to me, we did it on Friday on The Source, we did it Thursday, we keep asking them, they keep saying the same thing. We want the Democrats to win because we feel like if we do anything else, it's going to be a problem for us. What I'm concerned about is that no one really seems to be in the community talking to the very people who has the vote.
Earl Ingram from Civic Media, Andrea Lawful Sanders from WRD. Thank you both.
All right, there you have it. I know the lady's trying to defend President Biden, but I wonder, I always like to flip the script in this life to see, had President Trump performed the way Biden performed and Biden performed the way Trump performed, would the conversation still be the same? That's number one. Number two, she says people are only picking on that. Of course, it's election season. You can't afford to make mistakes. And that's the problem. And the same thing goes on the other side as well. They pick on President Trump. They pick on President Biden. Everything you say is going to be scrutinized. It's going to be scrutinized. That's just how it goes. Once you put yourself in the political view, you're going to be criticized for everything. The things you do, the things you plan on doing, the things you don't do, and the things you never will do. So I don't know what she was trying to do there, trying to help. And the fact of the matter is, people need answers. Right now, it's not looking good for President Biden. I think he's done, and I think he should hang it up. That's my personal, humble opinion, because we get all these mixed feelings and mixed suggestions, even in the Democratic Party. Things don't seem to be settled. Everything seems to be in shambles right now. They're confused. And the next person in line is not someone we think is capable. So where do we go? That's what the problem is. But below. Let us know what this means to you. How do you feel about what both people said about President Biden? The gentleman and the lady. The gentleman was very blunt, and we heard him. And the lady came out and told us how the format of the interview was set in motion. Questions were given ahead of time. That's another topic for another day, in my opinion. And then she tries to defend him, saying, "Oh, he's better than the person on the other side." Another topic for another day. But in my opinion, as an independent, President Trump did a much better job than what we've seen President Biden do. And I'm not comfortable with going with next 4 years of what Biden's country is like. Please put in the comment section what you think. We're about to wrap this up. Thanks for stopping by again. God bless you, and I'll see you soon. You take care now. Bye-bye.